Welcome to WOGE'S Folk Tales, the channel for original and premium African tales and folklores with moral lessons. Subscribe for premium content. In the heart of the dense, ancient forest of Umudike, where the air was perpetually heavy with the scent of damp earth and blooming flowers, stood the spirit tree, an ethereal presence that connected the human world to the spirit realm. This tree, unlike any other, had a trunk that shimmered in the sunlight, casting rainbows of light, and its leaves were a vivid green that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. The spirit tree was sacred to the people of Umudike, who revered it as a gateway to the ancestors and spirits who watched over them. Chinelo, a young girl of about 14, had grown up listening to the legends and stories about the spirit tree from her grandmother, the village's wise woman. Her grandmother often told her that the tree held immense power, capable of healing the sick, granting wisdom, and even protecting the village from harm. But with great power came great responsibility, and the tree had to be protected from those who might seek to exploit its gifts. One warm, misty morning, Chinelo ventured into the forest to gather herbs for her grandmother. She loved these solitary walks, feeling a deep connection to the forest and its myriad sounds and sights. As she wandered deeper, she stumbled upon a clearing she had never seen before. There, standing majestically in the center, was the spirit tree. Her breath caught in her throat as she gazed upon its luminous beauty. As Chinelo approached, she felt a strange, warm sensation wash over her, filling her with an inexplicable sense of peace and belonging. She reached out to touch the tree, and the moment her fingers brushed the bark, she was flooded with visions. She saw the spirits of her ancestors, the faces of people long gone, and scenes of her village thriving under the tree's protection. She also saw dark, ominous figures, their intentions clearly malicious, seeking to harness the tree's power for their own gain. The visions left her breathless and disoriented. She sat at the base of the tree, trying to make sense of what she had seen. The urgency of the threat to the spirit tree weighed heavily on her mind. She knew she had to protect it, but she was just a young girl. How could she possibly stand against those who sought to exploit the tree? As she pondered, a soft, melodious voice broke through her thoughts. "Chinelo," it called. "Do not be afraid." Startled, she looked around but saw no one. The voice seemed to come from the tree itself. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice trembling. "I am the spirit of the tree," the voice replied gently. "I have watched over this forest and your people for centuries. You have been chosen, Chinelo, to be my guardian." Chinelo felt a surge of pride and fear. "But how can I protect you? I'm just a girl." "You have a pure heart and a strong spirit," the tree spirit reassured her. "You are not alone. The spirits of the forest and your ancestors are with you. Together, we can protect this sacred place." Determined, Chinelo vowed to protect the spirit tree. She returned to the village and told her grandmother everything she had seen and heard. Her grandmother listened carefully, her wise eyes reflecting pride and concern. "Chinelo, this is a great responsibility," she said. "But I believe in you. We will prepare you for the task ahead." Under her grandmother's guidance, Chinelo began to train. She learned about the various herbs and their healing properties, how to listen to the forest, and how to commune with the spirits. She also practiced the ancient rituals that could summon protection from the spirit realm. The villagers, hearing of her mission, offered their support, sharing their knowledge and skills. Months passed, and Chinelo grew stronger and more confident. One night, as she slept, she had another vision. She saw a group of men, led by a powerful sorcerer, making their way through the forest. They were searching for the spirit tree, their hearts filled with greed and malice. Chinelo awoke with a start, her heart pounding. She knew the time had come. She gathered her supplies and, with her grandmother's blessing, set out into the forest. The night was dark, the moon hidden behind thick clouds, but Chinelo moved with purpose, guided by an inner light. As she approached the clearing, she could hear the voices of the intruders. They were close. She quickly set up a protective circle around the tree, using the herbs and ritual tools she had brought. She chanted the ancient incantations her grandmother had taught her, calling upon the spirits of the forest and her ancestors for aid. The intruders entered the clearing, their eyes widening in greed at the sight of the spirit tree. The sorcerer stepped forward, his eyes gleaming with dark intent. But as he reached out to touch the tree, a barrier of light flared up, repelling him. Chinelo stepped forward, her voice strong and unwavering. "Leave this place," she commanded. "The spirit tree is under my protection and the protection of the spirits. You will not harm it." The sorcerer sneered. "Who are you, little girl, to stand in my way?" "I am Chinelo, guardian of the spirit tree," she replied, her voice ringing with authority. "And you will not pass." The sorcerer laughed, a dark, cruel sound. He began to chant, summoning dark energies to break through the protective barrier. But Chinelo stood her ground, continuing her own chants, her connection to the tree and the spirits strengthening her resolve. The air crackled with energy as the two forces clashed. The villagers, sensing the disturbance, gathered at the edge of the forest, praying for Chinelo's success. Her grandmother, standing among them, led them in a protective chant, their collective voices adding power to Chinelo's efforts. Just as it seemed the sorcerer's dark magic would overwhelm her, a brilliant light burst forth from the spirit tree. The spirits of the forest and the ancestors materialized, their forms shimmering with ethereal energy. They surrounded Chinelo, lending her their strength. With a final powerful incantation, Chinelo directed the combined force of the spirits towards the sorcerer and his men. The dark energies were dispelled, and the intruders were driven back, their power broken. Defeated, the sorcerer and his men fled into the night, their dark ambitions thwarted. Chinelo collapsed to the ground, exhausted but triumphant. The spirits gently lifted her, their voices whispering words of gratitude and praise. "You have done well, Chinelo," the tree spirit said. "The spirit tree is safe, thanks to your courage and determination." Chinelo smiled weakly, her heart swelling with pride and relief. She knew the battle was not over, that there would always be those who sought to exploit the tree's power. But she also knew she was not alone. The spirits were with her, and her village stood behind her. In the days that followed, Chinelo continued to train and learn, deepening her connection to the spirit tree and the spirit realm. The villagers, inspired by her bravery, redoubled their efforts to protect the forest and its sacred tree. Chinelo grew into a wise and powerful guardian, her legend spreading far and wide. She became a beacon of hope and strength, not just for her village, but for all who sought to protect the natural and spiritual worlds. And the spirit tree, bathed in its eternal light, stood as a testament to the bond between humans and the spirit realm, a bond that Chinelo had vowed to protect for as long as she lived.